Discover the 9 major signs before the earthquake and effectively avoid natural disasters. The earthquake anomalies that can be directly detected by human senses are called macroscopic anomalies of earthquakes. The manifestations of earthquake macroscopic anomalies are diverse and complex, with hundreds of types of anomalies and thousands of anomalies, which can be generally divided into groundwater anomalies, biological anomalies, geoacoustic anomalies, geooptic anomalies, electromagnetic anomalies, meteorological anomalies, etc. However, it should also be noted that the various macro phenomena listed below may be caused by a variety of reasons and may not all be precursors of earthquakes. For example, the fluctuation of well water and spring water may be related to the amount of rainfall, and may also be affected by nearby pumping, drainage and construction. The discoloration and smell of well water may be caused by pollution. The abnormal performance of animals may be related to weather changes, diseases, estrus, external stimulation, etc. Also, pay attention not to mistake welding arc light, lightning, etc. for ground light, and not to mistake thunder for ground sound. Don't use fireworks and signal bombs as underground fireballs. Groundwater anomaly. Groundwater includes well water, spring water, etc. The main abnormalities include muddy, bubbling, turning flowers, heating up, discoloration, flavor change, sudden rise, sudden fall, wellhole deformation, sudden exhaustion, or gushing of springs, etc. People summarize the proverb of well water change before the earthquake. Well water is a treasure, and earthquakes have precursors. No rain, muddy spring water, dry well water. Meteorological anomaly. People often describe earthquake prediction technicians as managing the sky above, the earth below, and the air in the middle, which is true. Before the earthquake, the weather often appeared abnormal. The main reasons are sultry before the earthquake, people are anxious and irritable, long drought without rain or continuous rain, yellow fog, dark sunlight, strange wind, hail in June, and so on. For example, the floating clouds in the sky are in the shape of extremely long rays. The position where the ray center points is the position of the central earthquake. Such ray clouds are easily observed by people. Biological abnormality. Some organs of many animals are particularly sensitive. They can know the occurrence of some disaster events ahead of human beings. For example, jellyfish in the sea can predict storms, and mice can avoid mine collapse or harmful gases in advance. As for the organs of vision, hearing, touch, vibration, and balance, which play the main role and which play the auxiliary judgment role, it may be different for different animals. The physical and chemical changes, vibration, electricity, magnetism, meteorology, abnormal radon content in water, etc., caused by earthquakes can often stimulate some sense organs of some animals and cause abnormal reactions. If the gravity of a region changes, some animals may feel it through their balance organs, a kind of abnormal vibration, which may be detected by the hearing organs of some animals. Before the earthquake, the underground rock strata had been slowly moving day by day, showing a creeping state, and there was strong friction between the fault planes, so some people thought that there would be a low-frequency sound wave on the friction fault plane that was only a few to more than 10 times per second, lower than the human hearing can feel. People need more than 20 sound waves per second to feel it, while animals do not. Those animals that feel very sensitive will be terrified when they feel the sound wave, so that there will be abnormal phenomena such as winter snakes coming out of the hole, fish jumping over the water, pigs and cows jumping in circles, dogs crying and wolves roaring. There are many kinds of abnormal animals, including large livestock, poultry, cave animals, hibernating animals, fish, and so on. The abnormal reactions of animals before the earthquake include cattle, horses, donkeys, and mules panicking, not entering the stables, not eating, disorderly barking, fighting, breaking the reins to escape, stepping on the ground, digging the ground, and suddenly running away from the animals during walking. Toad abnormality, pigs not entering the circle, not eating, disorderly barking, arched, escaping sheep not entering the circle, not eating, disorderly barking, escaping from the circle. Barking, crying, sniffing, picking the ground, biting, running and disorderly, carrying puppies to move house, police dogs not listening to instructions, cats panicking, carrying puppies to move house, tree rabbits not eating grass, barking in the nest, fleeing from the nest, geese not going into the water during the day, not going into the rack at night, not eating, keeping close to the owner, screaming, flying chicken not going into the rack, crashing into the rack, making noise in the rack, tree pigeons not going into the nest, living outside the house, suddenly starting to pour out the nest and flying rats swarming out of the hole during the day, like drunk, days they are not afraid of people, are scared, and move out of the hole with mice. The number of them increases. A group of fish floats, swims wildly, jumps out of the water, and the fish in the tank jumps around. The head and tail collide with blood, jumps out of the tank, makes a cry, stagnates, and dies. Toads come out of the hole in groups, and even runs to the abnormal situation of animals in the streets and alleys. People also have a few words to sum up well. Animals have signs before earthquakes, and group measurement and prevention are very important. Geoacoustic anomaly. Geoacoustic anomaly refers to the sound from the ground before the earthquake. The sound is as varied as the thunder of guns, as well as the driving of heavy vehicles, the wind blowing and so on. When an earthquake occurs, a longitudinal wave radiates from the source and propagates along the ground, making the air vibrate and sound. Because the longitudinal wave has a large velocity but a weak potential, people only hear its sound, but do not feel the ground moving. It needs the shear wave to arrive before they feel moving. Therefore, there is often a record in the epicenter of the earthquake that, before each earthquake, the sound in the ground is like the surging of the Earth's atmosphere, like the boiling water in the tripod. If you are in the epicenter area, you can often hear the sound of the ground for a magnitude 3 earthquake. The ground sound is the result of the structure of underground rocks and the movement and change of the liquid and gas contained in them. A considerable part of the ground sound is a sign of impending earthquakes. It is possible to have a better effect on earthquake prediction and prevention by mastering the knowledge of ground sound. Ground light anomaly. The ground light anomaly refers to the light coming from the ground before the earthquake, which has a variety of colors. It can see rare mixed colors in daily life, such as silver blue, white purple, etc., but mainly red and white. Their shapes are also different, including zonal, spherical, columnar, diffuse, etc. Generally, the occurrence range of ground light is relatively large, and it usually occurs within hours to minutes before the earthquake, lasting for several seconds. China's Haiqing, Longling, Tangshan, Songpan, and other earthquakes have witnessed colorful luminous phenomena before and after the earthquake. Earthlight often occurs simultaneously with natural phenomena such as earthquakes, landslides, collapses, or sand and water gushing, and jets. It often migrates regularly along the fault zone or a region, and is synchronized with other macroscopic and microscopic anomalies. Its genesis is always closely related to the crustal movement. It is also controlled by geological conditions, surface and atmospheric conditions, and can cause different degrees of harm to people, animals, and plants. At present, all the reports of ground light anomalies we know are about a few seconds to a minute before the earthquake. Similar reports have been collected from Haiqing earthquake, Lansang earthquake, and Jiangma earthquake. Geoatmosphere anomaly. Geoatmosphere anomaly refers to the fog from the ground before the earthquake, also known as ground fog or ground fog. This kind of fog, with white, black, yellow and other colors, sometimes colorless, often appears within days to minutes before the earthquake, often accompanied by strange smell, sometimes accompanied by noise or high temperature. Ground motion anomaly. Ground motion anomaly refers to the shaking of the ground before the earthquake. It is a well-known phenomenon that the ground vibrates violently during earthquakes. But before the earthquake, sometimes the ground shakes, which is different from the earthquake. The shaking is very slow. The seismograph cannot record it, but many people can feel it. The most significant ground motion anomaly occurred before the Haiqing M7.3 earthquake on February 4, 1975. From late December 1974 to the end of January 1975, there were 17 ground motions in Dandong, Quandian, Fengcheng, Shenyang, Xiuyan, and other places. Drum anomaly refers to the bulge on the ground before the earthquake. About half a year before the Sichuan-Luhua 7.9 earthquake on February 6, 1973, a ground drum appeared on a lawn in the Tuoba area of Ganzi County, shaped like an inverted iron pot, with a height of about 20 centimeters. Cracks appeared intermittently around it. The drum disappeared after a few days and repeated several times until the earthquake occurred. Similar to the ground drum, there are also ground fissures and subsidence. Electromagnetic anomaly refers to the anomaly of household appliances such as radio, television, fluorescent lamp, etc. before the earthquake. The most common electromagnetic anomaly is radio failure. It is also common for fluorescent lamps to light up before earthquakes in northern areas. A few days before the Tangshan M7.8 earthquake on July 28, 1976, many radios in Tangshan and its neighboring areas were out of order, and the sound was loud and small, sometimes absent, FM inaccurate, sometimes continuous noise. Also before the Tangshan earthquake, some people in the city saw that the fluorescent lights turned red at night and then lit up. Some people in Beijing turned off the fluorescent lights before going to bed, but the lights were still on. Electromagnetic anomalies also include some motor equipment working abnormally, such as microwave station abnormality, radio power plant interference, electronic alarm clock failure, etc.